What do you get when you take a $15,000 Toyota EconoBox, add $40,000 of handcrafted leather, and slap an Aston Martin badge on it? Well, probably the most spectacular failure in luxury car history. Or is it? Meet the Aston Martin Cygnet, the car that was supposed to save Aston Martin but nearly destroyed it instead. Today, just 13 years later, these failures are selling for $50,000 at auction. This is the story of how the world's most controversial city car became the most expensive mistake you'd actually want to own. The emissions scandal. Our story begins in Brussels 2009. The European Union dropped a bombshell on car manufacturers. By 2012, every brand's fleet average CO2 emissions had to drop dramatically. For Toyota or Volkswagen, this was manageable. They made millions of small, efficient cars to balance out the gas guzzlers. But for Aston Martin, they made exactly one type of car: beautiful, thirsty, and absolutely hopeless at passing emissions tests. With no parent company to help and every car packing at least a V8 engine, Aston faced a choice: meet the regulations or pay crushing fines that could bankrupt the company. Enter Ulrich Bez, Aston CEO, who had a radical idea. Instead of engineering new efficient engines, why not just buy somebody else's? And thus began Aston Martin's journey into what CEO Bez would later describe as building the finest commuter car the world had ever seen: the Tokyo Connection. The donor car was Toyota's IQ, a brilliant piece of packaging that could seat 3 adults in a space shorter than most motorcycles. With a 1.3-liter engine producing just 97 horsepower, it was everything Aston Martin had never made: small, efficient, and affordable. On June 29, 2009, Aston released a single image that broke the automotive internet: a clay model of their smallest car ever. The response was immediate and predictable. Enthusiasts screamed blasphemy. Journalists started sharpening their pens, but Aston doubled down. Here's how it worked. Complete Toyota IQs were built in Takaoka, Japan, then shipped to Aston's Gaydon factory in England. There they'd be stripped of their Toyota badges and rebuilt with Aston Martin DNA, or at least that was the theory. The $40,000 makeover. What happened at Gaydon was extraordinary. Workers spent 150 hours on each Cygnet. That's nearly as much time as building a DB9. The entire interior was ripped out and replaced with hand-stitched leather. Alcantara headliners, walnut veneer, every single panel was repainted in Aston's colors. The quality was genuinely impressive. The same artisans who crafted the DB11 interiors now worked on cars shorter than most parking spaces. But the mechanical bits, that remained pure Toyota, right down to the wheezy little 4-cylinder engine. The price tag was jaw-dropping: £30,995. This was more than 3 times the cost of the Toyota IQ it was based on. Aston justified this by calling it a tender, a sort of luxury dinghy to your DB9 yacht. The marketing department must have worked overtime on that one. The sales disaster. Aston expected to sell 4,000 Cygnets per year. The reality was different. In the UK, they sold just 141 cars over 3 years. Globally, fewer than 300 Cygnets ever found homes. That's not a production run, that's barely a rounding error. The problems were obvious. Who was buying a $40,000 Toyota when they could get the real thing for $15,000? And why buy the slowest Aston Martin when you could get a much faster BMW Mini Cooper for less money? By October 2013, the writing was on the wall. In a devastating Reuters exclusive, Aston admitted defeat. The Cygnet was dead. Having sold fewer than 150 units in the UK, the company took an £8.5 million write-off. The automotive press had a field day. The collector's paradox. But here's where the story gets interesting. Today, those failed Cygnets are worth more than they cost new. Recent auction results show pristine examples selling for $50,000 to $53,000. That's right, the car nobody wanted is now more valuable than ever. According to the UK's DVLA, just 132 Cygnets remain on the road with valid MOTs. That makes them rarer than many supercars, rarer than the DB5s, rarer than the DB6s. In the collector car world, rarity equals value. Suddenly, the Cygnet's absurd price didn't seem so absurd. With regular Mini Cooper S models costing $35,000 today, that 2011 Cygnet at $30,000 starts to look like a bargain, especially when you consider you're getting hand-stitched leather and genuine Aston Martin craftsmanship. The V8 madness. But wait, there's more. In 2018, Aston Martin's Q division built the ultimate Cygnet, a one-off with a 4.7-liter V8 engine from a Vantage S. That's 430 horsepower in a car the size of a shopping cart. This wasn't just dropping in an engine, the entire car had to be rebuilt. Vantage suspension, massive brakes, a roll cage, and flared fenders to accommodate the wider track. The result? A car that could hit 170 miles per hour and probably traumatize its passengers in the process. The V8 Cygnet is currently for sale through Nicholas Me, though the price isn't disclosed. Industry insiders suggest it could fetch $500,000, making it potentially the most expensive city car ever. Talk about coming full circle. What happened to the rest? So what happened to the other 299 regular Cygnets? Data shows fascinating patterns. The 2011 models have averaged just 200 miles per year. These are garage queens, bought as curiosities and barely driven. Later models show more normal usage at around 2,600 miles annually. Many were bought by existing Aston owners as novelties. Some went to wealthy urbanites who wanted something easy to park in London or Monaco. A few ended up on super yachts as tenders. The marketing department would definitely be pleased. Interestingly, 55 have vanished from UK records since 2015. Some crashed, some exported, a few possibly scrapped in fits of embarrassment, but this only increases the value of survivors. The current market is fascinating. Average prices range from $26,000 to $60,000 depending on condition, mileage, and spec. The most expensive sold for over $60,000, exceeding its original asking price. The Cygnet isn't alone. History is littered with commercial failures that became collector darlings. The DeLorean, Edsel, AMC Pacers, all were disasters when new, all valuable today. The key ingredient? Rarity mixed with notoriety. Younger collectors especially love the Cygnet's irony. It's automotive hype beast culture. Owning something so absurd it becomes cool, like wearing a $500 ugly designer sneakers, driving a $50,000 Toyota with an Aston Martin badge is a statement. The insider's view. Tim Cottingham from the Aston Martin Heritage Trust owns one. He describes it as an Aston Martin on a whole other level of practicality. He uses it regularly, something he'd never do with his other Astons. Owners consistently praise the build quality, the leather, the Alcantara, even the way it smells. It's genuinely Aston Martin. As one owner put it, it doesn't look awkward at all. Aston really designed a car that captures all the key attributes behind the brand. On the road, it's exactly what you'd expect, a Toyota IQ with nice seats. It's not fast, not thrilling, but oddly charming. The steering is light for city parking, the ride is comfort-tuned for urban pothole dodging. The alternative history. What if the Cygnet had succeeded? The plan was bigger than one model. Internal documents suggested Aston considered a Cygnet range, maybe a shooting brake, a roadster, even a JCW-style performance version. There's also the electric what if. The Toyota IQ had an EV variant in development. An electric Cygnet would have been perfect for emission regulations and London's congestion charging, but no one thought about it until too late. Other brands watched and learned. Mercedes eventually launched the A-Class as a premium hatchback, Audi refined the A1 formula, and even Bentley considered a city car before sanity prevailed. The verdict. So, was the Cygnet a failure? Yes and no. Commercially, it was a disaster, but as a piece of automotive history, it's fascinating. It represents a moment when regulations forced innovation, when pride met pragmatism, and when good intentions met harsh reality. Aston eventually solved their emissions problems differently, through partnership with Mercedes and electrification, but the Cygnet experience taught valuable lessons about brand integrity, pricing strategy, and understanding your consumer base. As an investment, the Cygnet's value trajectory suggests collecting potential. With only 300 made and fewer surviving, it's genuinely rare. Whether it's worth $50,000 depends on how much you value uniqueness over sensibility. Closing. The Aston Martin Cygnet was supposed to be a practical solution to an emissions problem. Instead, it became the most impractical solution imaginable, and somehow that's exactly what makes it special today. In the end, the Cygnet's failure may be its greatest success. It proved that even when you slap an Aston Martin badge on a Toyota, it doesn't automatically become an Aston Martin. But for 300 brave souls, not from Sparta, it became something else entirely, a piece of automotive absurdity worth preserving.